So we have this creative spirit at LeTourneau because of we often attract a technical student, a thoughtful student, an analytical student, which means that they're also a ton of fun and they're creative, and you see things traveling across campus that you've never seen before. And the earnestness, though, about who they are. What's great about LeTourneau is often students are attracted to LeTourneau University because of our Christian mission, but you don't have to be a Christian to be a student at LeTourneau. And we love that. We embrace that.
Welcome everyone to Coffee with the President. We're here at LeTourneau University. It's my honor to be here with President Mason. Thank you so much.
We're honored you're here.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
we really are.
This
is super fun.
I think I was saying this before we clicked record. This is legit. I was telling you, every one of our person from partnerships through pre-production is like, wait till you meet the team at LeTourneau. You all are so nice.
Thank you.
And anyways, you have an amazing
we
team
do have
here.
we do. I love coming in here every day and working with such great people, and it's so fun to meet new people though, and that's why it's been fun having you guys on campus.
Well,
yeah,
it's
been
great. And it's a gorgeous campus. Let's go big picture. Let's just say it's so fun to have you here, having some coffee. Tell us about LeTourneau.
Yeah, LeTourneau is a unique place, Alex. So we are the Christian Polytechnic University, and that means a lot of things. But first and foremost, we're very unique. We have got a unique history, a unique DNA, a unique story. And it all really centers around technology. And so our flagship programs are engineering and aviation and computer science. But we have a comprehensive institution where technology is really at the center of everything from engineering to the arts to athletics. And we are unique as a Christian university. We're entirely and thoroughly committed to the Lordship of Jesus Christ and all that we do, for from him and through him and to him are all things. But we believe that there are certain questions of technology and innovation in today's world that we're all wrestling with, that we feel a special stewardship of, to answer those questions, to ask the questions. It's not that we have every answer, but to wrestle and stretch ourselves to say, just because you can do something, should you do it? Those kind of questions throughout technology. So we're in Longview, Texas, so we're very proud of that. We believe that God's got a reason for that, that He put this institution right here in Longview. So we're a unique place, and we really are grateful for that. So
yeah, it's awesome. And one of the things that you just said makes me think. There's a word, we talk about it in the episode. You'll hear it in the episode, but I've just heard it when you walk through the campus. Faith integration.
Yeah.
And it's all with everything you do. And
Yeah.
I'd love you to kind of elaborate a little bit more on that if you're open to it.
Yeah, sure. So faith integration is a pretty common term in Christian higher education. In some ways, it falls short because what it implies is that you can actually separate two things, and that what we're doing is we're building something back together, when actually there's not really an ideal term. But the truth of the matter is, if you believe, which we do, that God is over and in all things, that His world and His ways are His over His dominion, His creative acts, His sovereignty, that you can't do, let's say, engineering outside of the idea that all truth is God's truth, that He's the one behind all the creativity of humanity and all the human potential, and then all the wonderful things taking place. So, but what we mean by it essentially is that whether it's inside the classroom or outside the classroom, we think about thoroughly, what does Scripture say? What scriptural and biblical lens can we bring to any academic area, to the industry? What ways are we working for the flourishing of humanity according to Scripture's definition and vision for that? And what ways do our industries, do our lives, our businesses at times work against the grain of what God would have for humanity? So the integration of faith and learning and living is simply the idea that there's no part of LeTourneau University that's sort of outside of the biblical idea that God is over everything. And so we're constantly seeking to explore, God, what would you have for us? What do you want? What's the best for aviation and education and the arts, and to be a Christian minister? You can come and major in theology and Bible here. So there's a great proverb that I talk a lot about and refer to when I talk about faith integration. And it's the one where it says that it's the honor of God to conceal a matter, and it's the privilege of kings to seek them out. And in other words, there's so much embedded in creation and in all that God has done over history. And it's like he's just waiting for us to discover it and waiting for us to sort of see something beautiful and truthful that he's implanted into this world. And so anyway, that's faith integration to some level. And there's a lot that I could say about it. So,
no, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm really excited for if you're watching this and you haven't watched the episode, please watch the College Tour episode. It's phenomenal. We go into so many exciting aspects. But what I love to roll into is the students here.
Yeah.
They're incredible.
Yeah.
Everyone that we've met, I can't wait to even when it's, I love you to talk about it. When you look out from your office and look over campus, like, what are you most proud of? Or, how does that, because everything here, the experiential learning and just the student-centered approach to it's palpable and you see it in the actual students. I'd love you, if you don't mind, sharing a little bit of that. What gets you the most excited about the students here? And
what I love about the students here is how creative they are. Alex, we attract a really earnest kind of a person that wants to make a difference in the world. And they want to use their gifts and their skills to do that. And so I remember one of the first years that I got to LeTourneau, there was a student who had taken apart their bicycle and then put it back together, but in an entirely different way. And they were kind of sitting on their back and they were pedaling with their arms, and they were like, Dr. Mason, look at this. And I was like, that is amazing. That is pretty incredible that you got this thing running in a totally different way. And he said, no one's ever thought of that before. I said, well, there might be a reason no one's ever thought of that before. I'm not sure that's the best way to do it, but the creativity was amazing, And so we have this creative spirit at LeTourneau because of we often attract a technical student, a thoughtful student, an analytical student, which means that they're also a ton of fun and they're creative, and you see things traveling across campus that you've never seen before. And the earnestness, though, about who they are, what's great about LeTourneau is often students are attracted to LeTourneau University because of our Christian mission, but you don't have to be a Christian to be a student at LeTourneau. And we love that. We embrace that. We want any student who wants to be part of what we're doing to be at LeTourneau University. And I suspect even if they're not a Christian, they want to make a difference in the world. And so we have this kind of great combination of creativity and intellect and spontaneity and earnestness that is really fun to watch. I often say this truly that when I grow up, I want to be a LeTourneau student.
Me too.
They're great people, and they're going to make a difference, and that's why I get so excited about driving in every morning.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Now, your background here, I'm curious of if you look at being the president from a different lens than potential other presidents, because you're a professor, right? And so having that background, and now in the role that you were, as president, is that help you see things clear, make decisions differently, how you approach that?
Yeah, it probably does. I mean, everybody brings their own life and experience into the presidency. There's probably not one perfect or background, but for me personally, coming out of the classroom, coming up through the academic side of things, first and foremost, my love and my first draw to higher education was just to make an impact on a college student. I mean, I had professors that poured into my life, and I thought, man, if I could do that, if I could ever have the opportunity to make that kind of an impact on a college kid's life, then sign me up. And so just to get in, just to be a professor, I thought was just the best thing ever. And I was like, that's all I ever want to do. And then I realized after getting here that God was calling me into some administrative things and leading other initiatives, and it just progressed from there. But I think one thing that it helps with, Alex, is I'm more inclined maybe to think about the student experience. What's it like in the classroom? What is the ebb and flow of the semester? It's easy to get a little bit distant from that because, what do presidents do? They're public facing. There's a lot of things I'm speaking at, raising money, getting to see alums and traveling, and which is so much fun. But the nuts and bolts of what we're doing is we're trying to form students to become the best of all that God would have them be, to help them discover things about themselves that perhaps they don't even know yet, their talents and gifts, and then to help them find a venue for that out in the world. And so because of that, I actually teach a class every fall. And I've had some people say you shouldn't do that. I mean, I truly have had people say that's not a good thing to do. I mean, that's just not the best use of your time. And I'm thinking, first of all, I'm not sure what better use of my time would be.
Absolutely, because you're touching it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I'm actually grading their papers, and the registrar.
You are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Which the registrar's asking me for midterm grades, and you don't want to be that guy. It's like, man, the president's late on his midterm. So I think it keeps me in touch with the student experience, and I love it. So yeah. So anyway, that sort of background I think is helpful. Plus, I understand how important it is to hire the right people to be in the classroom. I mean, these are folks that they're professing, right? That's what a professor does. They're up at the front of the class. They're professing their beliefs about the discipline, but also about what's important in life and who are we as people, and what does God ask of us, and what does God want for us. And so when you're in that professorship, you realize, man, you've got an audience, you've got a very impressionable group of people, and it's really important to hire the right people. And because part of my background, not only being a professor, but becoming a provost and being sort of in charge of all the hiring, that's still really close to my heart, because frankly, and I don't tell prospective faculty members this, but it's really the question about hiring a faculty member is this simple, and that is, would I be willing to place my son or daughter, we've got 3 kids, at their feet? And if the answer is, I'm not so sure about that, well, they're really smart and they know a lot about their discipline, but they're kind of, I don't know how committed they are to what's good in the world and to their Christian faith, or they're a really sweet person, but they don't know anything about their discipline, but that is really the single most important question to me. Would I put Caroline or William or Christopher at the feet of this person? Would I allow them to be my child's mentor? If the answer is yes, it's almost that simple.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I love that, because it's as you'll see at the college tour, you feel it every single part of this campus, but I am sure any parent, guardian, loved one, you'd be like, this is a great place to send. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the trust that, like, oh wow, this is going to be a formidable years, and what a great place to put their kids.
Yeah, and just for the point of integrity for my own life, Alex, I don't think I could do this job. It's pretty demanding. There's a lot of things pulling on you, and et cetera, et cetera. Actually, I think it's a huge privilege. It's an honor, and it's a lot of fun. But I don't think I could be recruiting students, asking people to join in what we're doing, raising money, et cetera, if I didn't think this was a really amazing place to spend time as a student and to go off into the world. So I'm glad that I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so much good stuff. Well, this is awesome. Is there any final thoughts? As I was talking to you before, lots of parents are watching this, lots of high school counselors, lots of principals. Any final thoughts for them?
Yeah, I think, there are a lot of choices out there, and there's more than one great choice for college, but I do feel like it is consequential. It's not, well, that school will be good enough, or maybe they can, get a decent enough experience over there. I think it really is important to be intentional, which is part of what the college tour is doing, is helping folks really get to know a place. And I think that's really admirable, because it is a pivotal point of young people's lives. And my wife and I feel very called.
I was just about to say, do you want to I know we've never done this before, but I feel like we should, where's your wife?
She's actually on campus. She's
I know,
she's around in the what I call the Holy Holies, the other part.
We've never done this before. They're like, come on in, please.
Here,
sorry, I just hit the bump.
And share. Well, I'll just kneel between you guys. Is that awkward?
No, it's not. No, this is awesome.
She's actually on campus this week because it's homecoming and we've got a conference, and she was being very quiet over there in what I call the Holy of Holies.
Yeah.
That's where my computer actually is of the office. But I actually think my final comment would be that Bonnie and I feel called to LeTourneau University. We love students. We feel like there's no greater privilege and honor and fun than to be part of a young person's life generally, or anyone on their their stage of life, to be able to come alongside them and create the right conditions. And what presidents do is they help create the right conditions for the university, for other people who are really in the trenches on campus, to make a difference in these young people's lives. And so it's just a privilege for us. And I tell this story a lot from time to time. So when Bonnie, when we were engaged, she was finishing her senior year of college. She did this Bible study, and it was all about vocation and calling. And she wrote in this book, and she's great about keeping things for years, like really special journals and so on. And the question was, if you could do anything, in life, maybe there's not even a job that is that thing, what would it be? And she wrote in that journal, minister of encouragement on a college campus. And that was 26 years ago. We've been married 25 years. And when I was invited to become the next president of LeTourneau University, almost 4 years ago now, I said, well, Bonnie, your dream is coming true.
Dream come true. Best job in the world.
And so
I totally love it. It is such a privilege. We count it a privilege to have students choose us, and also for the parents to entrust us with their student is just really a privilege. And we feel like while they're here, we want them to know us. We want them to be a part of our lives. We want to be a part of their lives as much as we can, and truly think this is a very special place on earth. And we just would love to have you come visit.
Yeah, that's the best. It is. Thank you so much for jumping in.
Thank you.
And it's awesome because it's like the team and the work here and what you all are doing. It's been amazing to watch. I can't wait for the episode to come out. Probably by the time you're watching this, the episode will be out. But it's awesome, and thank you for spending some time. I feel bad that we don't have a cup of coffee for you.
It's all right. I'll just cheers.
This is
I'll
the first
yours.
time.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you.
Cheers, everyone.
Fun.
See you next
Thanks,
time.
Alex.